friends, and we forgot to turn the lights on. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Ration Nerd. Today is a good day, because we're getting drunk. Well, maybe not drunk, but we do have a ration with some alcohol in it. And if you like alcohol, you know what you could do for me? You could hit that like button. You could hit that subscribe button. You could go to an AA meeting and talk to me in the chat. It is always a great time to hear from you guys, especially when you've been drinking. This is a ration from the Armed Forces of Italy. Combat food ration. This is Module F. Module F has the booze in it. We're going to crack into this. We're going to have a great time. And just in case you are wondering, where did you stumble across this amazing, awesome ration, Mr. Ration Nerd? Well, let me tell you, I got it from this guy right here who has an unpronounceable name, but he's a really bitchin' guy. Lots of cool rations in his inventory. Ask me how I know. I get a lot of the rations I review on this channel from that dude. eBay dicked him over. Now he's just working off of Gmail. I have never had a bad transaction with that guy. I just pay him through PayPal and poof, my rations show up like magic. It's absolutely awesome. He's absolutely awesome. And you could absolutely be awesome too if you had a cool ration like this and ordered it from my guy, or well, got it from anywhere for reals. And if you happen to be sitting in a chair somewhere getting dialysis, this ration review right here is for you, because getting dialysis probably sucks really bad. One of my subscribers gets dialysis on the regular, and I just wanted to say hi, man. If you're sitting in your chair getting dialysis, tell them to give you an extra warm blanket from Mr. Ration Nerd, or I'll kick that ass. Anyway, we're going to crack into this ration. This was produced in 2023. It does not expire until 2025. I know what you're saying. Then why are you even bothering to eat it? Because every once in a while, I like to eat something that's not ancient and probably has some good food in it. So that's what we're going to get into today. And speaking of anything else you could possibly get into, you know what you could get into if you were a paid Patreon member? I will be giving this honey garlic chicken Canadian IMP 22, menu number 13, away to one of my paid Patreon members, free of charge to them. I ship it out, I buy the ration, I send it to my Patreon members once a month. Why? I don't know. Just because it's a lot of fun to hook people up with some cool rations. Say thank you for supporting the channel. If you join Patreon, you will automatically be entered every month to win a ration from yours truly. I might even stuff a little love letter in there for you, and maybe a used, no, not any of that. I would never do that. Anyway, honey garlic chicken, it could totally be yours. And without any further ado, because that was a lot of bullshit, I know, we are going to crack into this ration. We are going to go at it from the back, and I'm not even straight explaining this. I'm just straight up going at it from the back, because that's the way I prefer to do it, because I want to keep this bag, because it's the one that had the booze in it, and I want to remember it forever and ever. Amen. So let's crack into this. Get our modules out. If you've seen my other Italian ration review, you will know that this then comes in 3 individually boxed modules, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I guess we're just gonna have to fuck that bag up just a little bit. Looks like we took a little bit of damage in shipping. That's okay though. So we have our breakfast module, just a little smashed and bashed. We have that lunch module, which is much heavier, much more substantial. And we have the dinner module. Let's try that. And we have the dinner module, which is nowhere near as heavy and crazy as lunch. So here's what we're going to do. Since each one of these is in their own cute little box, we'll unbox each meal as we set it up and get it out on the tray. Then we'll figure it all out. I'm going to move some shit around, and I'll be right back. So breakfast in a lot of European countries is very light, very scant, and that is what we are likely to pull out of this box. So let's check it out. Before we even get the tray, we better get this box open and see what is on the breakfast menu today. There better be some coffee, or I'm going to have to go kick some Italian person's ass. So we have a sack of paper bag and some destructions. So you get some destructions and a bag. We get some napkins that feel like that crazy Italian plastic napkin action. And we also have a spoon. We'll get into that here in a moment. Then we have 3 toothbrushes and a little thing of toothpaste. If you're not brushing your teeth, you really oughta, because it's the only set you're gonna get. This is an epic, absolutely awesome ration edition. It almost weighs, well, I mean, it weighs something, but it doesn't weigh much. Little tube of toothpaste, 3 toothbrushes. That's absolutely epic. No, I'm not brushing my teeth on camera because you can't see me anyway. Check that out. Individually wrapped inside the wrapper. That's really cool. Keep your toothbrush clean before you stick it in your dirty face hole. And that's a nice hard bristle, kind of the way I like it. Maybe not the best toothbrush on the planet. Colgate's not giving this thing any fucking awards anytime soon. But you know what? Keeping your teeth clean in the middle of a war zone is probably way more important than you think it is. Keeping your teeth clean in general will help you live a healthier life, he says as he tosses the toothbrush down on the dirty ass ration table. And you'll have to forgive me and my dust over the next few reviews or so. We're having some remodeling done in the house, and it is making an absolute fucking mess of Ration Nerd land. So then we have our teeny tiny container of toothpaste that has a little baby toofers on there for you. So cute, so cute. There we go. Toothbrushes and toothpaste. Absolutely badass. That's what I'm talking about. Then we have a Restore brand cappuccino. I'm all about the Restore cappuccino. That is an excellent, absolutely epic cup of cappuccino. We're going to get on that here post-haste, because as many times as I've tried to say toothbrush and toothpaste and fucked it up because there's no coffee in this face yet, it's getting a little ridiculous. Back to this. So we have some stanky ass fuel tablets for heating up your meals throughout the day. We'll get into those. They smell like a fish market at like high noon. Then we have 6 water purification tablets. Each one of those is good for 1 liter of water, so you can purify 6 liters of water throughout your day as an Italian soldier. Pretty awesome ration addition if you ask me. Water is really important. Then we have a pack of matches with some nice fire engine red tips. And just before anybody bitches that I didn't do the match exhibition, and that lights up real nice. It's a match. What did you expect? And then to go with them stanky ass Esbit tablets, you have a really excellent folding Esbit stove, a great way to heat your mains. You can set it up all the way open, or if you're really careful, you can kind of do a balancing act where you have it just barely open. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, although I have pulled it off before. This one is a little bit loose on the rivets that this thing is set together with, so I would recommend doing this at the full extension. You might even be able to pull it off if you just stuck your fuel tablets in there. Not 100% sure. I've not tried it like that, but you have an Esbit stove for heating up your food. And then we have 50 grams of Biscotto Dulce. These are going to be the breakfast variety. Ask me how I know, because I recently screwed these up on my Italian mountain ration review. These are nice and sweet with a vanilla flavor. Can't wait to crack into these guys. Then we have some pre-sweetened tea mix. This works hot or cold. It's still a little bit like summer here in Ration Nerd land, so we're going to go for this cold this morning, but this is actually really good stuff. Having had this before, very excited to see it. Some tea action. Then we have a pack of salt and 8 grams of sugar for, well, for diabetes. That's what. And for making stuff taste better. I play with diabetes stuff. Not really. Sugar, it's bad for you, but we eat it anyway because it's fucking yummy. And here is a new one for me that's going to make those breakfast biscuits way more interesting. We have 2 containers of apricot jam. That's pretty awesome. I'm all about it. Oro Fruta. I'm going to bring that up so you guys get a chance to see it. This is the first time I have seen or laid eyes on one of these, so this is pretty awesome. A little bit of biscuits and jam for breakfast. Never hurt anybody. Probably not going to be the most filling thing on the planet. Breakfast in Europe can be very light in some countries. Then we have 3 individually wrapped toothpicks to help your toofers out along the day. And then we have the star of the show. No, that's not a Freezy Pop that sat outside of the freezer way too long. This is 30 mils of a cordial that is 40% alcohol by volume. The only ration I know of that comes with alcohol in it, and I was able to get one. This is pretty exciting. Maybe you guys can read that label on the camera. Not 100% sure. It might help if I stop like floating the bubble all over the place. Hey, can you guys read that? Is that easier to read when I do that? How about when I do this? Is it easier to read when I do that? I don't know. But we definitely have our booze. We're not doing booze for breakfast. We are absolutely going to save this for dinner time. A little after dinner cordial. Never hurt anybody. And that's everything out of the breakfast box. We're going to get breakfast out onto a tray, as tiny as it is, and then I'll be right back. All right, here we go with some breakfast out on the tray. And to answer a question I've gotten several times, and I'm actually going to ask this question in the voice that I imagine it was typed out to me in an email. Why do you bother reviewing things like biscuits and jam and a breakfast? And why don't you just... Because it's about fucking ambiance. It's about the experience. It's about knowing what a guy in the Italian military is going to have for breakfast. and this is it. No, he's probably not going to have a tray or some glasses to put his cappuccino in, but this is what that man is getting for breakfast, which is why I'm putting it out on a tray. It's about the experience, it's about the ambiance, it's about the majesty of rations, goddammit. Anyway, let's start out by getting this absolutely banging cappuccino mixed up. Maybe I'm also just one of those people that likes to hear themselves talk, obviously, because I'm sitting here talking to all you guys, but you're not really here. Not yet, anyway. That's kind of like a weird time rift thing going on. I'm talking to you, but you're not here yet. And we're going to go with that tea, but as I said, we're going to have it cold. I really like this tea last time I had it, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. After the cappuccino, that is. And please don't hate, just hydrate or you'll die a really bad kind of way if you're not drinking water. We're gonna Hulk smash this cappuccino without any doubt, but just so you know, I did pour some blistering hot water on my leg. It does really seem to be a recurring theme here on Ration Nerd, where every once in a while I just like make an absolute mess or burn the shit out of myself. And this really, really crappy spoon in here with this crapkin, because it's not a napkin, it's a crappy napkin, so it's a crapkin. So we have this spoon that literally is thin enough you can almost see through it. Like if you're really paying attention, you can probably see my flesh tone through the other side of that. Not the best spoon on the planet, but we are definitely going to mix up some drinks with it, whether the spoon likes it or not. And that cappuccino is going to make me really happy as I sing my way through the breakfast cappuccino. That is calling my name. Anyway, this napkin is a real... Well, 2 napkins. Sorry, these napkins are really piss-poor ration editions. I do love me some Italian rations, but these napkins are absolutely hateful. This just pushes the food around on your face. Maybe this is supposed to be more like a bib. You just tuck that into your shirt and it stops food from falling on you, because this is about as absorbent as my left ass cheek. I'm not really sure what they were thinking with these things. This is more like tissue paper. Great for wrapping some gifts at Christmas time. Not so great for wiping your face when you're trying to eat, but hey, I guess you get something just to like move the mess around. You totally couldn't wipe your ass with that. You could if you just wanted to smear it all over the place. That's absolutely disgusting. And let's break into these Biscotto Dulce. I love these things. They're so very yummy. Ooh, little breakage going on. That is a really good looking biscuit. Look at that. These are really sexy biscuits. Very light, very crispy. Very toasty. Really nice toast on those things. Absolutely. You can just think of this as a very light, very airy, very crispy vanilla cookie. And I tell you what, these are actually really high quality. I love these things. And before we even screw around with that apricot jam and those biscuits, you know I haven't had it. You absolutely know I need it. If you don't, welcome to Ration Nerd, where I spend the breakfast portion of the ration screwing the pooch on every other word I say, and until I get the bean of the gods in my face hole, I completely screw up the entire time. If you were here, you'd know I was telling you the 100% truth, but we are going to get some of this cappuccino in the face hole where it belongs. I've had this before. I'm absolutely looking forward to this. Let's give this a little sniff. And that smells absolutely good. Smells a little bit like hot milk and a little bit like coffee, which is absolutely amazing. Let's get some of this in the mouth where it belongs. Ooh, and aside from that being extraordinarily hot, that is absolutely amazing. We're going to have to give that just a second to calm down temperature-wise. That is very creamy, nice, rich, nutty coffee flavor. That is absolutely epic. Nice little bit of foam on the top even. Just completely doing it up. Now, it is not sweetened, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a little sweet breakfast cappuccino action. Get all 8 grams of that diabetes in there. Let's go for it. You know what? I don't care if it's hot or not. I really need this coffee. I'm going at it. We just put 8 grams of sugar in it. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. Oh, you know, I get a lot of hate for dropping the F-bomb in these videos, but realistically, I like to be honest with you guys. And when I took that first sip of coffee, the very first thing that came to mind were 2 words, fuck and yes. Like when I put that coffee in that mouth, literally my brain just went, fuck yes. So yeah, that's what it is. Fuck yes, this coffee, or cappuccino rather, is absolutely banging. Me and this cappuccino are going to need a little alone time. I'm like burning my tonsils with that, and I really don't even care. Did I happen to mention how amazing this cappuccino is? Absolutely. We're going to hold off on the tea for a little bit because that cappuccino is absolutely where it's at. Let's start by checking out one of these biscuits. We'll break off the wrong piece, not where the little dotted line was. Nope, can't break it there. But you already got a close-up of this guy, so let's just get a little sniff. It actually smells sweet and smells like vanilla. That's amazing in the face. I know this isn't a lot for breakfast, but those are absolutely amazing. Very soft sweetness and also a very soft taste of vanilla. They're really crunchy. As you're chewing them up in your mouth, they kind of melt a little bit, and that intensifies the sweetness just a tiny bit, as well as the vanilla flavor. Those are absolutely epic. Love these things, but they are a little bit on the dry side, so let's check out some of this apricot jam. I might even save one of these for later, simply because that's not a lot of biscuits, and they taste good on their own. Whew, that was great. So like as I was trying to talk and talk about the jam and the biscuits, one little crumb of this crunchy biscuit went right down the back of my throat, and it just won't let me talk, so you'll have to excuse me for a second while I just like cough my brains out and try to eject this hunk of biscuit out of my throat. I'll be right back. Whew, let's try to put the food where the food goes and the air where the air goes. Anyway, I need to get some of this apricot jam on a biscuit and stop fucking around. We are going to get a little taste of this apricot jam all on its own because we can. And that jam is absolutely amazing. It's only mildly sweet, which I really enjoy. It's almost more like a fruit puree than it is a jam. It's a little bit grainy, which I absolutely love. A little bit of the fruit is still in this jam. It's not like all completely cooked out or strained out. So we're going to get some of this apricot jam on some of these biscotto dulce and go to town on this. That looks really good. I don't know about you, but that's a yummy looking biscuit with some really nice apricot jam. And that's a really pleasant way to start the morning. Lightly sweet, really crunchy, pleasant, really pronounced apricot flavor that is really just complemented by the mild sweetness and vanilla on the biscuit. Absolutely gourmet. Get that whole biscuit ready to go. It's a good biscuit. It deserves some more apricot jam. Saving that apricot jam is probably a really great idea. Hooray me for having a great idea once in a while. Wish you were here to take a bite of this. And you know we got to get a sip of this tea. I mixed this up with about 9 ounces of water. It's looking really good. Nice light golden color. And in that 9 ounces, it's just a little bit watered down. Probably should have went with about 6 ounces of water. Even so, it still has a really pleasant lemon flavor. Mildly sweet, very refreshing. This tea would also be good hot. But that's dealer's choice. If you want some cold tea, it mixes up cold just fine. And if you want it hot, well, the world is your oyster, my friend. You go ahead and make your tea as hot as you want. Well, my friends, that was breakfast. For me, this is pretty much the breakfast of champions. If there was about 3 packs of cappuccino and I could get an appropriate amount of coffee in this face with breakfast, these biscuits and that tea are all I would really need to start my day. That's just me. You might be different. Your mileage may vary, as they say. But as far as I'm concerned, this breakfast is epic, mainly because it has some bitchin' cappuccino. And I will see you guys in 2 or 3 hours, where we'll bring it back for some lunchtime. Welcome back. It is totally lunchtime, so let's crack into this lunchbox and see what's on the menu. I see a can of something. All right off the top, we have some biscotto crackers that have definitely seen some better days. They feel pretty busted up in there. We have a cutlery set of, well, maybe better quality than breakfast. We'll check that out. Still the same crapkins in that pack, but hey, what are you gonna do? Then we have a big-ass dented can of minestrone. Not too shabby, I guess, if you're into soup. Minestrone's not hateful. We'll have to check that can since it did take some abuse. Then we have a can of beef in jelly. Sounds good to me. Nothing like some meat jelly. We also have a can of fruit cocktail. Love it. Not. Maybe I love it. It just doesn't love me. Stay there, would you? We have some Enervite tablets. These things are great for a laugh. These are chewable vitamin tablets that taste like They taste like ass. There's nothing else for it. They're pretty nasty. We have another 50-gram pack of Biscotto crackers. Crackers, anyone? Oh, you get 100 grams of them. Then we have some instant coffee that actually feels a little janky. I don't know. We'll have to go easy on this one. Weirdly enough, maybe it was just smashed under a can for a while. It does feel a little thick in there, like maybe it didn't survive the journey. That would be an absolute shame. This Restore coffee is banging. Then we have my favorite part of every Italian ration on the planet. These are the Enervite fiber tablets. And let me tell you what, I'm going to have a few of these today because they're absolutely hysterical. But after I do, I am willing to mail these out to anybody that wants a set, as long as you promise me that you're going to eat them, and then you might even film yourself and email it to me, because that would be freaking hysterical. And then we have another 8 grams of sugar to go with that coffee, and that's everything you get for lunch. And to say that's everything you get is kind of unfair. You realistically get a lot of food. You have a big-ass can of minestrone soup, and that is a 400-gram main. Now, I'm not a big soup guy, but it is what it is. Then you have this beef in jelly. That thing is coming in at 140 grams of roughly, mostly protein. Then you have some yummy, yummy fruit salad. Who doesn't like fruit salad? You know, Trey. Be right back. So I'm always 100% honest with you guys, not that you would really care, but it has been a couple of weeks since I did the breakfast, simply because shit happens. I had a contractor in my house and they screwed a bunch of shit up, and I had to get a quicker video out the door for you guys before I finished up this ration. You already know what's on the menu because I already flabbered my jaws about what is on the menu for lunch. And as you can see, the ration table is just so ever slightly different because I did clean up in the middle of all that stuff. But it's a new day here in Ration Nerdland. We fired that contractor. We're going to get another one because that's how life goes. When people start screwing up your house, you throw them out. Anyway, we're going to get this minestrone heating up because that is the one thing that's going to take some effort here. And gently, without making a mess, that's a change. We're going to pour this into our mess cup because it's the only really great way of heating this stuff up. That is a lot. That is quite a bit of soup. A big old can. Get that pea in there where it belongs. And we'll get some of these stanky fish tablets rolling in this Esbit stove so we can have some nice hot minestrone, because I don't know about you guys, but minestrone soup is not something I would ever want to eat cold. I mean, I guess I could if I had to, but I would certainly rather not. God, they smell so bad. Like, what is it about fish guts that is so flammable? Because I got to imagine. I know they're not actually made out of fish guts, but you could fool me if all I had was a smell test. I would swear on a stack of Bibles that was made out of compressed, bleached fish guts, because it stinks really bad. One thing, the stinkier the Esbit tablet is, it seems like the easier it is to get them lit. So we're just going to put one match on each one. We're going to have some screaming hot minestrone that is not going to fit in the tray that we're going to make an absolute mess with. See, like I said, the stinkier they are, the more flammable they are. And in this case, that absolutely proves to be true. Let's get our minestrone heating up. And we'll get our cutlery out, which has one of those crapkins. And yeah, it's a crapkin. It's like the worst napkin in any ration. And we have 100 grams of crackers to get into. But first, let's make some room for that yummy, yummy fruit salad, because I love me some fruit salad. I kind of want to leave it in the can, but if I do, then you guys won't be able to see it, so we're making a mess together, and that is probably, well, nothing new to you if you've been watching me for any length of time. You've watched me spill stuff all over the place. Just barely fits in the tray. All the fruit, please. All right, this is absolutely going to be a hot mess. That spoon... That spoon is like curved for her pleasure. I'm not really sure what's going on with that thing. That is very interesting. But I'm going to have to drink some of this fruit juice, or I am absolutely going to have fruit-flavored minestrone, which isn't really a thing for me. All right, now that we've lowered that down to a much more acceptable level, let's see if this crapkin will soak up any of this fruit juice. I'm going to call it ahead of time and say no. Yep, it didn't absorb any of it. It's just kind of smashing it around the tray. That's absolutely excellent. Great napkins. And this beef jelly, which is I don't know. This is one of those things you either like it or you don't, but I would certainly not knock it until you try it. It doesn't look great, but it actually tastes pretty damn good. And one thing that I saw in a comment that came my way recently is that I'm a WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, I guess, and that I'm biased towards US and European MREs. And absolutely not. I pick on US MREs more than I pick on any other. And quite frankly, this is a cool ration experience. This is not the best ration I've ever had. Just because it's European doesn't matter. That fruit salad is pretty damn basic. A can of minestrone you could find anywhere. And this beef in jelly is probably the coolest thing in the ration, except for some of the other items like the fiber tablets, and that's only because they're absolutely horrible. But otherwise, Italian rations are pretty much a basic bitch ration. I'm excited to see them because I don't get them very often, and it was one of like the OG rations that I saw on YouTube, got me into the hobby in the first place. So I'm excited about an Italian ration just because it's from Italy, not because I'm like Eurocentric or whatever the hell this asshat was trying to say. It's because some of the food is a known variable to me. It's kind of easy to get excited about something where you know the food is actually going to be edible. And edible is also a matter of where you grew up and what you grew up eating. I don't quite comprehend why people can't understand that. I'm pretty positive if somebody from a foreign country opened up a US MRE, they might turn their nose up at it at first until they got into it and realized it was actually a processed bag of trash because it's not food you're accustomed to eating. I don't really turn my nose up at anything. I make a point of eating a bite of everything, even if it's something horrible like sardines or fucking squid in a can. I'll take a bite of it. I will give it its day in court, even if I know I'm going to hate it. So anybody that says I'm Eurocentric or I'm trying to be like a WASP or what, who even says that anymore? There's some really butthurt people out there that the whole woke thing didn't work out for them. So they go about this whole woke business in some kind of weird passive-aggressive way, and I'm not having it. I just blocked that guy from the channel. He can have all the fun he wants with his comments by himself. So let's get into this beef in jelly, because it's actually really good. It looks pretty hideous. Ooh, and it squirted out of the can at me. That's never a good sign. Maybe I was just like ham-handing it or something. Let's get that. Oh, that's that's absolutely epic. I really probably should start doing a face cam, because if you were here right now seeing my face, you would see the splash marks on my glasses from some meat jelly, which is pretty goddamn awesome. I need some real napkins up in this place. Those crapkins are just not going to cut it. And then let's get this big old puck of beef in gel out onto the tray. Look at that. It's just like a big jellied meatball. You know what? Let's just throw caution to the wind and let's bring that up so you can see it in all of its big meatball-y glory. It really is just like a giant, solid, cold meatball. I'm all about it. I've had this before. It's actually really tasty. I don't think I'm just going to go after all the jelly in the bottom of the can. Just no. I'm not just going to eat. Not to say that there's not a lot of flavor in there. Maybe we'll leave it sit off to the side so we can dip some of those biscotto crackers in it later. I really feel like we're going to burn this soup if we don't get it out onto the tray. I'm not sure we're going to get all of it onto the tray, so bear with me here for a second while I hopefully don't give myself like second-degree burns with some really hot minestrone. Now, you can see what the broth looks like, and just to get your eyeballs on the veggies, take a look at that. So there's a bunch of veggies in there. What I don't see in here is meat, which you can absolutely add your own because you get a big old puck of meat. We're going to have to put the rest of these over here on the side. And it's absolute sacrilege. I'm completely out of sorts. I did not do the coffee, and I've already used my mess cup. Damn it. Damn it. I'm all out of sorts. Sorry, guys. You can understand. You get it. We've got that awesome Restora freeze-dried coffee, and we've got some sugar, always got to have that, and some nice hot water for that coffee. And we're going to grab this knife since it's uncontaminated and give that a little swizz and see how bad these biscuits got beat up in transit. I'm sure it was pretty bad because oh yeah, look at that. That's just like biscotto dust in there. Hopefully there are still some larger pieces that are still intact. That'd be nice. Oh, not so much. These things are really beat to hell. Let's try the other pack before I just make a huge mess on the tray. Well, I think we're always going to make a mess no matter what we do. This pack certainly has some larger survivors in there. All right, so that was right in time. Both of our Eslit tablets went out. We still have 4 left over. We have some nice boiling hot minestrone here we're going to crack into. We have carrots and peas and potatoes and some kidney beans. Very light red kidney beans floating around in there. Aside from a few flakes of seasoning, I don't really see much else going on here. Obviously, a tomato base. So let's just go ahead and get just a little bit of veggies and some broth. And you'll have to excuse me that I don't bring this up to the camera, but with this spoon being a little wonked out of proportion, I don't trust myself to bring scalding hot soup that far up. So we're just going to go ahead and throw this back in the face and taste some minestrone. And that's just kind of okay. It's a very basic bitch soup, to be honest. This could really use some seasoning. All we have that came with the ration thus far is some salt. Some pepper would have been greatly appreciated, maybe some hot sauce. But we're going to go ahead and salt this up because there's not much else for it. It is going to be relatively worthless if we don't do something with it. I mean, granted, it's food, it's hot, it's 400 grams. There's a lot of liquid in here, though. So it's definitely hydrating, and it'll fill your belly. I'm just not sure it's going to be the most excellent lunch I've ever had. Now, granted, I know that's not what any military is going for. They're not going for culinary masterpieces. However, I do think Italian rations just have some really repetitive main items. I'm pretty positive I had the minestrone in the last Italian ration that I reviewed, and that was a completely different menu module. So maybe Italy could do a little bit better of a job to give their guys a little bit more variety in their menu options. A little better with the salt, still kind of plain. It's a meatless minestrone, which is okay, but they certainly should and could have added a lot more seasoning to this just to make it more palatable and absolutely more interesting to eat. And just for the record, we wore half of that spoonful of minestrone. I'm almost tempted to just reach over there and get a face bucket of a different variety, but I'm trying to stick it out with the utensils that were provided. It's just not easy. And we can use this other busted ass pack of biscottis, except for the really big guys. We're going to save them for a little bit of that meat pudding we got going on over there. We're going to dump the rest of these like crackers, crumbs, and bits and pieces right in the soup. Like just kind of use it like some big old croutons or something. Try to jazz it up a little bit. Maybe add a little taste, a little texture, just something to help this soup because it's just not very interesting. And that's a real bummer. These are really cool rations. I just wish they would think the mains through a little bit more. Yes, this is hearty food, and you have some major food groups represented here. Your carbohydrates, your vegetables, a good bit of hydration, and a big old hunk of meat and fat. But I imagine this menu or menus like it would get really boring really fast, especially when you open up a new menu module and you're staring at the same mains just in a different order. All right, maybe making a mess out of it will make it taste better. I know these crunchy cracker bits in there certainly aren't going to hurt anything. And the crunchy cracker bits are definitely helpful, but their time being crunchy is very limited because of how light and airy they are. They're going to pick up that soup broth really quickly. Now that we've made a little room, we can scoop the rest of these veggies back in there. This soup really does suffer from an absolute lack of seasoning. It's really basic and plain. Not to say that it's not good. Sometimes basic and plain is okay. I know it's absolute sacrilege. I haven't touched the coffee yet. So with that in mind, let's get a big old sniff of this coffee. It smells absolutely amazing. And this is absolutely the review after I did the clean review. For those of you that saw that where I didn't do any cussing, fuck yes, this is an absolutely fucking amazing fucking cup of coffee. Fuck fuckity, fuck fuck fuck. This is good coffee. Yes, with cream, that would be absolutely bitchin'. That's the one thing I think won me over on the last Italian ration I reviewed was simply the fact that it came with a tube of sweetened condensed milk in it, a big ass 100-gram tube of sweetened condensed, so that made every coffee I had that day absolutely wonderful. But this particular menu variation does not come with the sweetened condensed milk, as you can see. I do think this ration could benefit from some better drink options. People need to be hydrated, and not everybody really wants to drink water all the time. Soldiers aren't any different. These guys already have a hard life. Let's give them something decent to eat and something decent to drink. Not to say that this minestrone is garbage or anything, because it's not. I would certainly take it over most USMRE mains. It's just really basic, and in a ration that has enough room and enough weight for complicated, absolutely epic items, this certainly isn't one of them. And this soup was okay. It's just pretty damn basic. It needs some seasoning, and they really should include pepper in this ration. They certainly have the volumetric space to put some pepper packets in this damn thing. Even some hot sauce, 3 boxes, lots of leftover room. Put some damn seasonings in there, or even put one of these cute little seasoning balls in there. Why not? But the bottom line is, when you start to see this particular can of minestrone recur in several different menus, you're going to get really tired of it really fast. Let's clear that palate up with a little bit of this yummy ass coffee. Well, I'm all kinds of discombobulated today. Editing this video is going to be a hell of a good time. So now let's crack into this. A big old ball of meat over here. And this is essentially just a canned meat. It's very finely ground and minced, but you can also see that there is a little bit of beef texture in there. We're going to bring it up to your dirty little eyeballs just so you can check it out as soon as the fork lets go of it. So check out that beef in jelly. Essentially just a big ass meatball in a can. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and throw some of this in the face hole. It might look pretty nasty. Actually, it looks like a hunk of dog food. This stuff has always been pretty damn tasty. And that beef and jelly is certainly a little salty. It has a really nice texture though. Kind of exactly what you would expect. It's a little on the ugly side, and it's very pink from the canning process because it went in there raw. And there's a good bit of meat there, all things considered. It's a 140 gram can. There's probably only 110, maybe 120 grams of meat total. The rest of it is tied up in the jelly. It's very interesting to me. I happen to enjoy it and like the flavor. And this is one of those items that might seem really weird and really wonky to some people. I happen to really enjoy it. But I can say, if I had 7 of these rations for 7 days of the week and I had to eat one of them every single day, I might get really tired of it really fast. And this is certainly another one of those items that could really benefit from some black pepper. Black pepper weighs about nothing, so them adding some to this ration certainly would have been a great idea and would have made a lot of these items a lot more interesting. What it lacks is that depth of flavor. Like, you get that salty hit at the beginning. Well, I can say, thanks to the magic of editing, you guys didn't have to hear the last 7 sentences I just really screwed up when I'm trying to figure out how to exactly explain to you weird looking meat. I really wish the jelly that this beef and jelly came in was stable to the point where you could actually just kind of cut it in slices. The gel itself has a really decent flavor to it. It's just kind of slimy and snotty in its current configuration, but there is quite a bit of flavor locked into that jelly. Let's go with a little bit of, well, beef snot on top of our beef. Yeah, there really is a whole lot of salty, beefy flavor that's locked up in that gel. It's kind of crazy. It's not the most appetizing thing, especially if you're not accustomed to eating things like this. Pile o' snot on the side of the tray is not going to make you want to like slurp it up or anything, but it is a real shame it's not solid. It's a lot easier to get past your eyes and into your mouth when it's just like a solid block on there rather than this like weird slimy texture. Even I just can't suck the snot out of that can. It's just not happening. And you guys know I put some weird shit in my face. You've seen me do it. Here's the last bite of that beefy goodness. We'll give it every chance of being the best last bite ever. We'll get some of that beef snot, some of those straggler pieces. We'll just slam that all on top of there, squish it between a couple of biscotti crackers, and we'll bring that up to you for your viewing pleasure so you can look at the snot just kind of like squishing out of the sides. Squish, squish, squish. Yeah, I'm going to drop it on my face. Let me just put this in my mouth. And these biscotto crackers are excellent if you want something that's relatively plain but extremely crunchy to chew on. These things are actually really good. So we're going to reach out to an ally for some help. A little bit of American spoon action. So let's get that extra hunk of beef out of the fruit salad. Nobody wants beef in their fruit salad. As you can see, we have some pears, we have some peaches, we have some grapes. No cherries were obviously harmed in the making of this fruit salad. The syrup that it's in, it's a light syrup. It's very sweet, really tasty. Let's get a big old mouthful of some pears and a grape, and give me a hunk of peach, damn it. There we go. We got the happy family, because that's the whole family that's in there, is just these guys right there. And this is a really, well, decent quality canned fruit. Not a huge variety of fruit in this fruit cocktail. That syrup was nice and light and sweet and excellent. Let's give this fruit cocktail its day in court. And that's very basic, as you would expect. Nice and light and sweet. This is definitely going to fill your belly, especially with 400 grams of minestrone. This is a nice sweet treat though, not too shabby. The pears have a good bit of texture. The grapes just kind of explode into nothing, as well as the peach slices. Nothing different than any standard can of fruit cocktail and light syrup that you'd find on any grocery store shelf here. Whew, I am working on an extraordinarily full stomach here. Putting down everything in this lunch, honestly, is a pretty damn big task. Whew, and that is all all the fruit salad I have room for. Oh, did you think we were having booze for lunch? Absolutely not. We're having the booze with dinner. I really don't even drink, so this is going to be a treat? Question mark? I'm not really sure. I'm not much of an alcohol guy, and no, I don't do the other stuff either, in case that's what you're insinuating. So that actually could get me a little tipsy. Maybe I should do like the after video. Who knows? But before we part ways for a few hours, you know we got to get into some of these really yummy accessories. Everybody needs their vitamins, and I am not immune to that. So we're going to check out one of these Enervite tablets. These things are so much... Oh, look, this one's all broken up. So this is a big chewable vitamin tablet. So there you go. That's what that bad boy looks like right there. They normally have like a little arrow pointing which way it's pointing. I have absolutely no clue, but right now I guess it's pointing into my face hole. Those things are pretty gnarly. It's real chalky. It has that really harsh vitamin flavor. Like essentially, if you were to take some very mild berry flavor and add a little bit of citrus flavor to it, grind that up with just like your standard, you're not supposed to chew this multivitamin, and then put it in like a sugary, chalky kind of form, that is exactly what that Enervite tablet tastes like. It's not the worst thing ever. We're about to have that, but they're certainly not great. So put some more sugar in those tablets. Make them actually worth eating. Make them taste good. You'll get your soldiers to put their vitamins down. I have a feeling that when your average Italian soldier field strips his ration to go in his pack, this pack right here, all 4 vitamins, sure will probably go in the trash. They're probably not having anything to do with those bad boys. Now we're going to get into the real fun. We're going to get some of these Enervite fiber tablets. I've had these before, and because I'm asking anybody out there that wants them, like I'll mail these to you as long as you eat them. I'm going to eat them myself just so I can join in on the fun. I know exactly what nastiness I'm about to put in my mouth. I'm kind of laughing about it ahead of time, but here we go with some fiber tablets. Like, I need that after all that damn food. Those are so bad. It's like chalky. That's fucking hideous. Wood pulp? I don't know what the hell is in there. Oh, it's so bad. It is literally like chewing on a soft piece of plywood. Oh, like earthy and chalky texture. It completely gets stuck in your teeth. Maybe you're not supposed to chew these. Maybe you're supposed to swallow them, and the joke's on me. But I see no reason why you wouldn't put some kind of coating on this to get the fiber like down where it needs to be instead of just getting all stuck in your teeth. Oh, these things are absolutely horrible. Let me know. If you'd like a pair, I'll totally mail them to you because this is too much fun not to share with others. Well, my friends, now that we're back on track with this ration, that was lunch. I gotta go get changed, go back to work, and then I'll see you in 3 or 4-ish hours where we'll get into some dinner, we'll polish this off, and we're gonna get drunk together. Or, well, at least I'm gonna try. I don't know if that's enough to actually get me drunk. It's been a long time since I've actually consumed any alcohol, so maybe this is that point where I get to say, hey, dinner and drinks later. All right, my friends, we are back with the last meal of the day. This is going to be the dinner or the supper portion, whatever the hell you want to call it, and find out what we're having for dinner. But we have our utensil set, which seems to be a slightly higher quality than breakfast and lunch, and this also has a couple of Kratkins in there. This will just snatch these things out of the bag and give that a quick inspection. Actually, they're just a little bit thicker plastic than the other two, so I guess for supper you get just a tiny little baby boost in the quality of your flatware, but that is what it is. And we get a couple of Kratkins. And normally I don't pick on napkins that much, but when you get no TP and you get these like plasticky weird things, these are absolutely getting picked on. These are Kratkins. And we have coffee and we have sugar. I'm actually not going to drink this coffee this evening with dinner. I think I'm going to save this. Actually, I know I'm going to save this to send out to one of my Patreon subscribers. But you get coffee and you get sugar. That's amazeballs, because that is amazing coffee. And then what did we get? We got ravioli. So we have a 400 gram can of raviolis. What else do we have in here? We have another 50 gram pack of the Biscotto crackers. Actually, really enjoy the Biscotto crackers. Love the breakfast sweet ones, but these guys are really good with savory items. We have 2 Beretta 8000 fruit bars. These are actually really good. I can't wait to crack into these guys. These are yummy as hell. And then what is the... Oh man, there is a guy on the can with a conch shell and a trident, that has to absolutely mean. So that means this is going to be a fish item. Although I did just kind of get rescued, saved by the bell, if you will. This actually says beans and tuna. So if it's not super fishy tuna, or maybe the beans kind of sucked some of the fish flavor out of it, let's hope and pray. I'm going to eat that cold. I don't know if that's the right call or not, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to have this guy cold. We're going to throw the raviolis in the mess cup and make an absolute mess. I will get this all out on a tray and let the mess making begin. I was really hoping to get another tea with this meal, but it just didn't happen. So we are going to pour ourselves just a wee dram of water, so that way we have something to wash potentially stanky tuna taste out of our face. And we are absolutely going to get set up with something classy. We're going to get set up with something that you can easily see the color of our alcohol. We'll get that out here in just a second. You stay there. So let's see what this can of raviolis is all about. Well, there was no hiss, so that's a good thing. And there was no explosion out of the can. That normally bodes well for canned goods. All right, because I don't want to like sling orange grease sauce on my face, I'm just going to leave that lid just like that. Not exactly attractive coming straight out of the can. We're going to risk it all, and we're going to bring it right up there so you guys can see like that oily just mess that's coming out of this can. That's all right, though. It is a little thin for ravioli. Well, hey, that's just an American point of view. And here in America, well, we only know what we know. So maybe raviolis over in Italy don't come with a nice thick salsa. That is it's almost like ravioli soup. Let's dump it in there and find out. Ooh, some of those raviolis kind of broke open a bit. Get on out of there. All right. So that is 400 grams of Italian raviolis in the mess cup and ready to rock. The meat has come out of them, or at least most of them. That's kind of a bummer. And we did not burn the minestrone, so I am thinking that 2 fuel tablets, 2 stanky fish gut tablets is the way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and just get a 2. Oh, they smell so bad. Like, it's just a shame that they have to smell like fish guts. It's disgusting. Absolutely filthy. And then I just touched them. Yummy. So let's get those other Esbit tablets away from open flame. All right, so I just stopped recording for a minute, gave that some time to heat up so we could just continue this in one seamless motion. Everybody likes it like that. You got to grease the wheels sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into this beans and tuna. I absolutely no idea what I'm getting into. I should probably give these raviolis a little stir. This is a whole lot more like ravioli soup as far as I'm concerned, at least what I am accustomed to as an American. All you people out there that get butthurt, stop being butthurt, just listen to what I'm saying and stop putting words in my mouth. As an American, normally we eat raviolis with a much thicker sauce that is more like a soup broth as far as I'm concerned. So don't squirt. All right. Oh, they're oily. At least you know this meal is going to have a decent fat content. You can see the fat floating around on top of ye old raviolis, and that is probably some kind of oil in there. Very likely intended to be like a cold bean and tuna salad. Ugh, sounds hideous to me. You never know. I could be pleasantly surprised as I drip fish oil everywhere. Ugh. All right. Ugh, that looks less than appetizing if you're me. I mean, the can actually looks cooler than the food inside of it. That's telling. Let's get a sniff of this and see if the fish has like made the beans all stanky. You know? And that just kind of has a pleasant tomato scent. I am totally down with that. So let's get this oily mess out onto the tray like that. Look, if you had this ration, it was the only one you had for several days, and you were lucky enough to like catch yourself a squirrel or a bunny rabbit or anything else like to cook up, you could totally just put this oil inside of your mess cup and fry that bunny up in some bean and tuna oil. It's probably packed in vegetable oil, to be fair. Let's get this nastiness out on the... Oh, there's lots of tuna in there too. Come on, guys. Be less generous with the fish and more generous with the beans. It's normally the other way around. So if you're a fish lover, you're probably like, oh yeah, more fish is better fish. For me, I was actually hoping that they would go cheap on the fish and be like rock stars with the beans. That is certainly not the most attractive looking thing I've ever seen out on this tray. Maybe not even the worst looking thing, but certainly not exactly appetizing, not to this set of eyeballs. And we got those raviolis coming. It's more like ravioli soup as I'm scorching the hell out of some fingers. I need a real mess cup. That's what I need to do. I need to invest a little bit. And there goes that. I'm just calling it ravioli soup because it really looks like soup to me. Oh, 400 grams is almost too much for that main... That's the second time that's happened to me on camera. Ow, I normally don't have trouble with this thing, but there's a little bit of like burnt ravioli hanging out in the bottom there. For having 2 Esbit tablets heating this up, I barely got any burn on the bottom of that mess cup, which is great because I can barely clean this thing out as it is. And since these are both the same flavor and I've had them a bunch of times, I'm going to save one of these to send out in one of the ration giveaways. But we are certainly going to open this bad boy up, get it out on the tray. This is like a sawdust bar, but it's nice and soft and chewy and fruity and yummy. Don't let the look fool you. I know it looks like a piece of particle board, like somebody just cut a slice off of it at Home Depot and just like put a little glaze on it and threw it in a bag. That's not the case. That's actually a really yummy bar. I can't wait to throw a bite of that in the face. And we got our biscotto crackers, which are definitely going to be pulling double duty. They're going to be something crunchy and then already kind of opened. Okay, well, you know, shit happens. Let's give them a sniff, make sure they didn't go rancid. They don't smell rancid, but they absolutely kind of have that cardboard stale smell. That ought to be great. All right, we got this nice dirty pile of fish and beans up here. That's really where we ought to start, because if I absolutely hate it, I don't have to take another bite. And if it's not that bad, and it's that real mild tuna that I'm praying to the ration gods that it is, or maybe that the oil has chilled it out, maybe this will just be a pleasant protein boost. I gotta say, as far as a ration item goes, meat and beans is a great way to pack protein into a soldier, and farts for fun later when you're joking around with your other squad mates. But let's get into the taste of it before we sing the praises of its protein content. Let's bring this up to your face so you can see what I'm about to stick in mine. I'm not real happy about it. I can't say that yet. I've had some tuna that was more meaty and really not fishy, and I'm really hoping the oil content knocked that fish flavor out. I am trying to put this off by talking too much. Let's just put this in the face. So if I was really starving Marvin, which I'm not, this wouldn't really bother me. I'd have to be really hungry to enjoy this. The oil content has absolutely helped that fishy flavor. You pick up a little hint of that background, like serious fish flavor, but it's very passing. What I mean by that is like you get a taste of it, and then as quick as you taste it, it kind of just fades away, which is great for me. This really doesn't have much in the way of seasoning going on for it. It really just relies on the tuna and the beans and the added oil, and maybe some tomatoes were harmed in the production of this. I'm not 100% sure, but that oil certainly is tinted very orange for something that doesn't have any tomato content. If I was super starving, I could eat this without a whole lot of complaints, and that's pretty awesome coming from me considering how much I don't like seafood. But we'll try to chuck some of this on one of these biscotto crackers, see if that helps to humble the fishy flavor even more. Okay, all right, that bite was a little different. When you really get to chewing stuff up, like actually factually chewing it, not just kind of tossing it back and forth in your mouth and then just swallowing it down your gullet. When you're really chewing stuff up, it gets stuck in your teeth and stuff. That's when that fishy flavor really comes out to haunt you. The first bite, I just kind of swished it around a little bit, kind of like I was wine tasting, and then just swallowed it so I didn't get a lot of that fishy flavor. There's way more fishy flavor involved in this if you're actually chewing it, you know, like macerating it in between your teeth. So it's a bit fishier than I really expected it to be on bite number 2, especially considering I put it on one of these biscotto crackers. But even with all that said, no, I'm not getting used to fish or anything, so don't get excited. Point being is that mixed with the oil, this tuna isn't so bad, and then having some beans in there to break it up. So this is like bite number 3 for me. It's probably where I'm going to stop. I don't see any point in sitting here and eating something I really don't care for. Your mileage may vary. Last bite of the tuna and bean fishiness, and then I'm going to put that to bed because no thanks. And in all fairness, that really is a mild fish flavor. I could take 3 bites of it without a whole lot of carrying on. So you know the fish flavor wasn't that prominent, but there's enough of it there that I really don't want anymore. Still a cool ration item, especially if you like seafood. Now we're going to rock onto this ravioli, see what that is all about. This really is more like ravioli soup. Not that it's bad. I'm just not accustomed to having raviolis with more of like a soup stock. It's not what we are accustomed to here in the US. So don't throw hate at me just because I don't understand that maybe Italians, like with ragu is what the can says, raviolis with ragu. Maybe ragu in Italy is like this thin, watery soup stuff, and here in the United States, it's much thicker. Let's check out this ravioli in the soupy tomato sauce. Check out that guy. Some of the contents of one of his neighbors spilled out right onto his face, but that's all right. We're just gonna give him his day in court and get a big old bite. And it's so hot. Oh my God. And quite honestly, this is like the last Italian food dish I had in an Italian ration. I'm absolutely not impressed by this. The pasta is kind of soft and mushy. Didn't retain its shape very well. As you can see, they just kind of pooped out all their contents into this soupy sauce. I'm not really into it, guys. This is very mild tasting. Does not have a lot of seasoning in here. There's really no flavor of garlic or onion or anything that I can really pick up on. It's almost just like a really thin, watery tomato sauce with some very mushy pasta. Now, this was canned, so hey, that's the way it goes when you can pasta. But there is something to be said about this really watery sauce and the fact that it just doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. Honestly, there is absolutely nothing excellent about that broth at all. It's kind of like the cheapest can of tomato soup you could ever find on the shelf here in the US. It's very watery, very plain, ever so mildly salty. Otherwise, it just tastes like a really thin, watered-down tomato sauce. It's kind of a real bummer. You know what else is a bummer? Are these damn Krattkins, because they don't absorb shit. This dinner just isn't all that in a bag of chips. That Power Bar over there is going to be excellent. I've had those before. That's going to be yummy. This is just really, honestly mediocre. Like, one would think that if I got a ration from Italy and there was something like pasta in there, it would just be rocking. But no, of course, this is just ravioli in a can. I'm sure it does not speak to all Italian food in Italy. So if you're Italian and you're being offended, just stop, because I pick on everything, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, whether it's Italian, Russian, German, American, it doesn't matter. I pick on everybody's shit, and Italy isn't going to be any different. If it sucks, it just kind of sucks. If it's mediocre, it's absolutely mediocre. And these raviolis are fucking mediocre, and it kind of sucks. It doesn't suck for me, because I'm just a goofball sitting at a table. Who it would really suck for is an Italian soldier that gets stuck with this. I mean, you get some banging coffee, but as far as like your meal options, minestrone wasn't all that in a bag of chips, and this ravioli isn't great. I mean, I'm eating it because I bought it, I paid for it, it's mine, it's here, we're talking. I love hanging out with you guys, but quite honestly, I could take it or leave it. I actually mostly just leave it. Like, I'm pretty positive I'm eating the raviolis out of it, and the rest of it's just going to go in the trash. Maybe we can rescue a little bit of it by throwing some of these big old biscotto cracker bits in there. Since we don't really have much else to do with them, you know, the weird thing is the beans and tuna are much more interesting than the raviolis, and that's saying something coming from me. I know things are different in every country, so maybe to an Italian soldier this is great. I have a feeling this gets really boring really fast, and I kind of feel for those guys. And if this is the first time you're watching me, I'm an advocate for all the soldiers, regardless of what country they're from. Soldiers deserve better. Countries decide to go to war. Soldiers are the ones who actually have to fucking fight it. So at least feed the guys, feed them well, feed them good, tasty, nutritious meals, because they deserve better. That's all I'm saying. All soldiers realistically deserve better. They're fighting and potentially dying for their country, and their job probably kind of sucks, so they at least deserve some goddamn good food. And that's not it. You get that slightly metallic taste to the tomato paste or tomato sauce that's inside. That is absolutely what this ravioli has. That's one of the flavors that's definitely throwing me off. 2 thumbs down for the canning process, especially when I'm slurping down raviolis that kind of taste like the can. That's not all that great. The biscotto crackers, I love them when they're crunchy. Maybe I should have just dunked them and then eaten them right away. Letting them sit in here, just let them get really mushy. Doesn't really help with the flavor. Now they're just wet, mushy, and not as tasty as they were when they were plain. All right, well, I'm putting it down. That is the last bite I'm having of the raviolis, because that's all the raviolis. The rest of it's just sauce and busted-ass pieces of biscuits. But that is the last bite of the ravioli in allegedly sauce going in the face, and then we're going to say goodbye to the mains. And this is a damn it Italy do better spoon drop. We're going to drop it gently because I've got enough like goop all over the place because of this really orange, crazy, greasy sauce action going on. Now we're going to crack into this Enervite Beretta 8000, a Fruta bar. This thing is absolutely amazing. We're going to give you a cross section of that guy. Nice little bits of oats and grains in there. It's almost kind of a little bit pasty when you bite into it, so just beware if you get one of these things. It looks like it's going to be like a rock hard power bar. Once it hits your face, it really just starts to kind of dissolve into almost like a powdery, pasty kind of sensation, and then immediately hits you with a burst of fruit flavor. And then you get some of these little crunchy bits that are hanging around in there. This is a really yummy energy bar in my opinion. Let's get a sniff of that just for fun. And it smells like apricots, and I'm all about it. I really like that. It's nice and soft and chewy. Not hard on your teeth like a traditional like US power bar. Very easy to eat, even on the move. You could eat it very quickly if you wanted to because of the way it just kind of breaks breaks down in your mouth, and you could either like chew on it and savor it. It really does have an apricot and peach flavor all at the same time, which is really excellent if you like either apricot or peaches, or if you like the two together, like I happen to. This is absolutely yummy as hell. These things are great. And this is definitely a first for the channel. This is the first time I've ever had any alcohol that's come in a ration. So we're going to get this mess out of the way, and we're going to put that guy in the highlight right in the center so we can see what's going on. And I don't want to be that guy. What guy? The guy that doesn't take his vitamins. You know, we gotta, oh, these are going to be, you know what? These are so horrible. They're actually really fun. And there are 6 tablets left, and they're more or less blister packed. I'm calling it 2, like your serving size of 2. So if you want a serving size of 2 of these, just reach out to me on the channel email. And the first 3 people that reach out to me are going to get some Enervite fiber tablets. If you want some Enervite fiber tablets, I'm hooking you up, because this is a hell of a lot of fun to put in your face and experience how horrible these things are. And we're gonna do the double whammy. We're gonna knock it all out of the park at one time. We're gonna get our multivitamin and our fiber at the same time. I don't know if this is a good idea or an extraordinarily horrible idea, but I've done dumber shit. So let's just go ahead and get our fiber and our vitamins and just chuck that back in the face, and let's giggle about this for a minute. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. Oh, that's absolutely horrible. I will say that doing the fiber pills and the vitamin tablet at the same time did help to mask some of that crazy like wood pulp flavor that you get from just the fiber tabs. So definitely doing those together at the same time, especially if you're the type of person that needs fiber to help push stuff out of your butt. I have no problem with that. I normally don't need any fiber. Everything comes out of my butt just fine. If you're bold enough to send me an email with your address, I'll mail these sumbitches out to you. And now the moment that some of you have absolutely been waiting for, and I've been a complete cheeseball and put it at the absolute end of the video, because quite honestly, I had shit to do, and I don't know, having any blood alcohol content is not a great idea when you have to drive. So this is my last meal of the day. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere to go. So we're gonna have some booze. I don't drink. Anybody that knows me in real life can absolutely confirm this. There are a couple people that subscribe to the channel that know me in really real life, so they'll be able to confirm that I don't do anything with alcohol. I don't drink booze, so this is going to be fun for me, and I promised I would save Mrs. Ration Nerd a sip of this Italian liqueur, and this is a 40% by volume cordial, and it just happens to be 30 milliliters of it. So whatever that's going to look like in this big old glass, I don't have any shot glasses. Probably would have put it in there. Sorry, YouTube, I don't know what to tell you, but let's get a sniff of that. Now, I am not an alcohol connoisseur. Although I drank when I was younger, it's not like I was an alcoholic. It just doesn't usually settle well with me. It's probably going to mess up my stomach, but I'm going to get some sips for you guys, because what the hell else would I do? Let's get a sniff of this cordial. Wow, that smells sweet. It smells like vanilla. It has a little bit of a smoky aroma, just ever so slightly. Kind of reminds me of my days back when I actually used to drink for fun. 30 milliliters isn't a whole lot, so we got to try to get every last little drop of that cordial out of there. So let's see, that is a very, very tiny bit of alcohol. I don't even think I'm getting drunk off of this. I think this is just going to be a little taste, a little swizz. It has a very nice golden color though. Wow, and now that it is outside of that plastic bag, holy shit, you can smell the fact that that's 40%. Woo! It actually doesn't smell nearly as pleasant outside of that little plastic bag as it did inside. It still has that, that'll get you. Like you put your nose up to that and really get a big whiff of it. It'll get you. Not really sure how that didn't translate when I was just sticking one nostril up to the hole in that bag. Like I almost felt like I was going to snort some up out of there, so I stopped. But I guess there's not much else for it. Let's bring it up to you guys so you can see what we're working with here. I will do my best to get this to translate into a decent camera image. Hopefully you're seeing that nice golden brown color of that cordial. That's actually really cool. Getting alcohol in a ration, but it is certainly a nice little treat, so let's give that a little sip. Don't breathe. I haven't even tasted it yet. I stuck it up to my face. I accidentally was breathing in through my nose when I was trying to drink out of this little glass, and that alcohol stank just wafted right up my nose. It was pretty bad. Oh. That's fucking horrible. Oh, take it for. Oh, whew, that is really, really, that just doesn't have any pleasant taste to it. It's almost like, it's kind of like drinking stained rubbing alcohol. That's actually pretty bad. Very warm, very hot in the mouth. Definitely gives you that throat burning sensation. This would be absolutely 100% better if you mixed it with your coffee or tea to get rid of all that really harsh alcohol undertones to it. It's like all the smell and all of the sweetness in this cordial is gone, absolutely gone. It's just pure booze. To be quite honest with you, this has the same type of after effect in your mouth, throat, and nose as would like a really strong whiskey or a really strong brandy, neither of which I'm big fans of. And for a cordial, this actually tastes a lot like a whiskey or even a brandy. It doesn't taste like a cordial to me at all. In fact, there's nothing cordial about not even being able to get your nose in the glass. But hey, it's booze. I'm going to share with Mrs. Ration Nerd because she was really interested as to what this was going to taste like. If you're wondering, if you're soul searching for this ration, unless you're into like hard alcohol, like whiskeys or bourbons or something like that, and that the burning sensation and that overpowering scent that just kind of punches you in the nose, if you're into that kind of stuff, you'd probably really get a kick out of this. I was really looking forward to this, and it just kind of shot me in the foot. I really assumed that it being a cordial, it was going to be nice and sweet, kind of like a dessert liqueur. I was absolutely wrong. That shows you what I know about booze in general. Not a whole lot, but I tasted it, I tried it, I gave it its day in court. It's not my fault the judge found you guilty. Well, my friends, that was dinner. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We're going to wrap this up at the end instead of me blabbering about it now. Lord knows I blabbered about it enough while we were eating it, so I'll be right back. So thank you guys for joining me here on Ration Nerd. It was great of you to be here, and yes, this is not the ration bag. The ration bag got destroyed by the home improvement contractor that was supposed to be here doing work on my house. And what did they do? They actually ruined a bunch of my shit on and around this table. And then they just didn't even bother to tell me about it. They just threw that shit away. That's about as professional as my left nut, and that's why they got thrown the fuck out of our house. So yeah, the ration bag that came with this ration was one of the items that they completely shit on, which is why this review took me so long to get out. But I know that doesn't matter to you. It's got a pink lid, it ought to suffice, and it'll be good for the smacking. And this ration wasn't all that great. It's a lot of fun to get into foreign rations, to see what soldiers from other countries are getting into for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This just wasn't the greatest. I feel for the soldier that gets stuck with this menu too many times, and quite honestly, the booze wasn't worth the cost of admission, so I feel kind of bummed about this one, but all in all, Italian rations are still a lot of fun. Maybe my taste in rations has just gotten more refined over time, or maybe it's the fact that I've just had better rations, and this one now seems really mediocre to me. I still love the packaging, I still love the fact that every meal comes inside of its own individual box, and the fact that one of the menus has a little, I don't know, snifty thing of alcohol in it is really cool. I'm going to keep searching for Italian rations that have better menus than this one did, because this one, just was kind of mediocre. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And if you want to stick to it, do you know what you could do for this guy? You could hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and talk to me in the chat. It is always great to hear from you guys, and this month we are giving away this Japanese Self-Defense Force emergency ration. You know you want some. You could go watch that review because it's actually a really yummy meal. Anyway, it's that magic time of the video where I tell all of you guys if you can find something cooler than this Italian military 24-hour ration with the booze added, you absolutely know what to do. Eat 'em up.
Man, I know that motherfucker didn't just go ahead and smack that box and then not finish that alcohol and then try to get me to come out here and say some shit. Man, that's bullshit. We ain't drinking, like, I don't know, like a long time. You know, like Sling Ration be needing a drink. Like, I need a drink because this motherfucker, I'm in here with this motherfucker. Like, you don't understand. Like, if anybody has any more, like, little sippy cups of booze, if you could just go ahead and mail them over to me. Like, don't address them to him, address them to me, and then I'll get that shit, and then I will be crunked. I'll be absolutely off my shit, and I'll be really happy. Maybe after I get a bottle of liquor in me, or maybe some frump, I'll be like all right, and I'll be much funnier at the end of the video while you guys are watching the Patreon names go by. See, that's what I'm saying. So like, if you get me all fucked up, imagine how funny I would be if I was all drunk. Ha! That shit would be great. I'd be all over the place. Man, I'd be saying some crazy shit. Y'all just wouldn't know what to do with me. So, you know, if you want better outros, then I guess you better get to sending me some booze. And then I will try to be there to intercept it when Ration Nerd is like, man, ain't nobody saying this Sling Ration nothing. Let me open this. And then I have to jump out of the box and be like, bitch, get off my mail, yo. Don't be opening my shit. And then we'll have to get into an argument, but it'll be okay. Because if you guys want to send me some little sippy cups of booze in the mail, like I will open them up and I will drink them and I'll be funny as hell. Like I will get down here in the studio and I'll just fuck shit up. Like, you know, Sling Ration will take care of you. So that's like, you know, send me the booze. I know Ration Nerd ain't gonna like that shit, but he can eat a dick sometimes. Like I'm just like, man, you need to get me fucked up because you ain't got me fucked up in a long time. You been keeping me locked up in here. Shit, man. I just need some booze, y'all.